initial meeting with somebody who has an interest in working. All right. This isn't a 5-point or 4-point person. I would do a home appointment for that, do a full KT presentation, and then look at the recruiting side on the back end if it made sense.
Okay.
This is for somebody who says, I have an interest in a day-to-day prospecting session. The example that I'll use with you is Cindy was out at the store. She met someone and got the person's contact information through prospecting. They said, yeah, they're open to having a conversation. I called them, set an appointment. They know nothing about the business. Okay? Except for on the phone, I let them know I work in the financial field. We're a financial education company. There's a number of different avenues that people can take that are available within the company. What I'd like to do is get together with you, share with you some things on paper so you can see it, and then if it makes sense, if it seems mutually beneficial, we'll decide on what we're going to do from that point. Sound good?
Sounds great.
Sounds
I
great.
always say that. So this is what I do from that process going in. When I meet the person, obviously I'm going to say, hi, thanks for coming out. And then I'm going to ask and say, so look, tell me...
You usually meet them in a separate, like a...
I'll meet them where they're
cafe
comfortable
or-
meeting.
okay.
If they want to meet somewhere like a Dunkin' Donuts, I'm okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
If they want to meet at the office with me, I'm okay with that. If they want to meet at their house, provided it's not too far away, I'm okay with that. I want these people to come to me, though, most often, because I don't want to be spending a lot of time driving.
Mm-hmm.
If
Right.
it's
Especially if it's
if
not
we
a
don't know
4 or
what's going to
5
happen.
pointer person.
Correct.
Okay.
It's going to be typically done during the day,
Mhm.
or on the weekends, or on off hours, or early evening, not during prime evening appointment time. Now, initially, when you're first starting out, if you do it during the evening time, okay, because you don't have enough
Right.
fill in it. But once your evenings are filled,
Right.
make sure you prioritize. That was something I always screwed up on. I'm like, well, I can't do it at night. Well, the only time I can meet is at night. Well, I can't do it at night. I have an appointment, and then I'd sit home. It's kind of counterproductive, right?
Right.
So, the initial conversation that I have in going in, I'm gonna start off by asking them, tell me a little bit about yourself, like where you grew up, the school you went to, friends, work. What are you doing right now? And I'll let them describe that to me. Now I have a good basis of the type of person that they are. Okay.
Why don't we just photocopy that?
We will. He gave. Okay. You gave me 4 questions. This is them.
Okay.
Right. I think it was something like that.
So my second thing is that I'll say, what do you look for in a job or an employment opportunity? When you're seeking out employment, I mean, we're going to talk about what we're doing here in a minute, but what do you look for? Are you looking for a flexible schedule or a more fixed standard schedule? Like, do you like having flexibility, or would you rather show up from 9 to 5? Okay. Do you enjoy working with people, like in a group setting, or would you rather work alone?
Can I ask you a question?
Mm-hmm.
When you're asking these questions, is your point, like most of the time with recruiting, it always feels like they want that person to accept it. But most job interviews are to whether or not you want to work with that person. So is your point really to find out whether this is a person that you're willing to
Correct.
spend time with, not hey. We
And
want to
also,
recruit you.
how are you going to structure that time so that it's a successful?
I'm not begging somebody like, hey, you got to come work with me. This is the best
we
thing
don't
for
do.
you. No, I want to know if it's worth me spending time with you.
Okay.
But I'm doing it very nicely.
Okay.
Okay. So do you like to work with people or work alone? Can I provide either one? Yes.
Right.
Are you the kind of person that likes to lead a team, like manage a team of people, or would you rather be led and kind of be told what to do? See what they say. All right, let me tell you then, based on those questions, I'm still going to say, let me tell you what I'm looking for. Okay? This is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for people who are motivated, credible, dependable, and hardworking. And it would be an added bonus if they had really strong people skills. Okay? So, leadership qualities, strong leadership qualities is also a plus, if possible, but not mandatory. And what I can tell you is, I have a development program to help people meet most of those needs. Here's what I can't do. I can't motivate an unmotivated person. I can't make a person credible. All right? So, let me ask you this. Based on what I just shared with you, the motivated, credible, dependable, hardworking, do you feel as though you possess any of those qualities?
Yes.
Okay. Then let me ask you, which one of those do you think best describes you or best fits you?
I have to pick one. I would say motivated and credible, but go ahead.
Okay, so you're a motivated, credible person.
Let it work.
Now let me tell you a little bit, and once I get that, all right, now let me tell you a little bit about who we are and what we do.
Okay.
Okay? The name of the company that I'm with is Primerica. Are you familiar with Primerica?
No.
Okay. Most people that I talk to, and this is going to be perfect, we are Primerica. Most people I talk to haven't been introduced to Primerica before, and I'll tell you why. Primerica is a company that doesn't do any kind of formal advertising. The only way that we obtain clients and build our organization is through word of mouth referrals, which, if you know anybody in the business world, you know that word of mouth referrals is the best way to grow a business. Would you agree?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay. And even if you didn't, I'm telling you it is. And if you talk to somebody, they'll tell you it is. Okay. What we found is there's a number of different challenges that people face with economically. I'm sure you know people that are struggling in a financial capacity, don't you?
Yes.
Whether it be debt or savings, you know, if they can retire. You ever heard anybody talk about that?
Yes.
Okay, I
all the
want to
time.
get the person talking to me. I want to get them involved. So let me show you some of the things that come about and how we address that. When you look at the company as a whole, the mission of our company has always been to help families be properly protected, debt-free, and financially independent. How much better would people feel if they were out of debt, they knew their family was protected, and they had enough money where they didn't have to work if they chose not to? Wouldn't that feel good?
That would feel great.
Okay, and that's what I aim to do with everybody I serve. So let me show you some of the challenges that people are facing statistically, okay? So people that don't have savings, if they don't have savings for retirement, they're never going to be able to retire, right?
Right.
And I'm sure you know people that feel that way, like, I don't think I can ever retire. We have ways that we address that, all right? There's also people who struggle with credit card debt. Do you know anybody that has credit card debt?
Yeah, a few.
Okay. The average credit card debt right now is at 15.9. According to 2012, 15.9 is the average. I can tell you 2 years ago, having worked in this business for a while, that was at 10,000. So it's
Wow.
jumped up significantly. What does that tell you about people spending?
Not. It's
It's
still
going up, right? I mean, the incomes are coming down or staying flat, but they're still spending money, and that's right. That's a problem, okay? It's a big problem. People don't have insurance, and I'm going to show you a little bit about that and why it's a challenge for people. And then people don't have emergency funds. So if their car dies or their heater goes or something happens, how do they pay for that problem? What do they use?
Credit card.
A credit card,
Kitchen.
right? So let me show you what we do that's different. This is how we work. When I sit down with a family, I'm going to show this, the wheel, I look at a person's complete financial picture. I take into account their savings, their insurances, their debt, all areas of their finance. And I look at that. The reason why I'm looking at that is I want to make sure that what they're doing is within their best interest. See, what I'll tell you is, if you have savings in mutual funds or 401k, you're familiar with the 401k?
Yes.
Or 403b, some kind of savings program. There's an individual that controls that, correct? There's a company that controls that.
Yes.
In addition to that, if you have insurances, like life insurance, auto, home insurance, that sort of thing, there's people that are in control of that as well. You have a mortgage on your home,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
There's a person you purchased that mortgage through. Now, if I said, let's get all those people together and discuss and make sure that that's all in order, how many of those people are going to show up at your home?
Only you.
None of them, right? So they're not going to come, they're not going to show up, and here's the problem with that. If I'm a life insurance salesman, and I say to you, let's get together and talk about life insurance. The question that a life insurance salesman typically asks is, well, how much do you think you can afford in your budget on a monthly basis? Why do you think they ask that?
Because that's the money that they
That's-
want you to pay them.
That's how they get paid. How about a person who's in charge of the 401k or savings?
They're gonna
What are they
ask.
going to call you annually or semi-annually and tell you to do?
Save more.
Bump it up. Why?
Because for them, they get paid.
That's how they get paid. Does the insurance agent and the savings professional ever discuss your needs?
No.
So do they really have your best financial interest in mind,
No.
or theirs? Now, there may be some out there, and I'm not going to discredit every single person out there. There might be some people out there who would be aware of that and take that into consideration. But having been in the workplace for a while, I know in the 403b program, there's always people walking around saying, hey, you really got to start 403b. Hey, you ought to up your contributions, because that's how they get paid. I know from the insurance standpoint, they call you up and they tell you, you got this kind of insurance, which is okay, but you need this other kind of insurance, which is better. Or they call you and they try to change your insurance because that's how they get paid.
Oh,
They
keep
make
giving
the
you more and
policy.
more.
So, you understand where I'm going with that?
Yeah.
So what I do when I sit down with families or with businesses is I take a look at that through something called a financial needs analysis. I analyze where a person is, where they're going, and I make sure that it's all within sync. Now, from a working standpoint, I want to give you an idea of the availability of what we have to help to help serve the families. Okay? I'm able to draw from 50 plus companies in order to help a family reach their goals. The one thing that's nice about what I do is I charge no monetary fee.
What?
Now, if you're
How
like
do you do
most
that?
people, you're wondering you're doing this for nothing. Obviously not. The companies that I represent pay me. So I'll give you an example. If you had auto insurance, like who's your auto insurance with?
Is it still
It's
traveling?
not, it's not travel. Safeco.
Safeco. All right. So you have Safeco insurance. If you have Safeco insurance and you're paying, X amount of dollars, say it was $200 a month for your family's insurance plan.
Okay.
Okay. And I was able to show you how to reduce that from 200 down to 150. Same coverages, same quality company, same deductibles. Everything was exactly the same. Would you change?
Sure.
Yeah, why wouldn't you, right?
Right.
In doing that, that company pays me.
Cool.
They pay me to save you money. Most people like that.
Yes.
In life insurance, let's say you have life insurance. And depending on who I'm talking to, if it's a younger person that may not, or somebody else, I'll ask them, do you have life insurance? Okay, who do you have for life insurance? We'll go through that.
Okay.
If you have life insurance, if there's a way that I can show you to have either the same coverage or more coverage, which you might need, I don't know, for less money, would you be open to changing if you're spending less to get that benefit?
Well,
I would
company,
think
there's
so.
no company.
Okay,
I mean,
it's if the company was good, of quality, right?
Right.
What I can tell you about our company that I use for this is they have an A+ rating based on a company called
financial
AM
strength.
Best.
Mhm.
AM Best is that they rate the financial strengths of all insurance companies. What I can tell you is with an A+ rating, you're in the top 15% of all insurance companies. So that's pretty solid, right? Not to show you some other things about that down the road, but I'm showing this to you because I want you to see this is how we work and how we get paid. That company pays up for bringing them the business. The people that we're working with, they pay no more than they would going directly to the company, but because we provide that to them, we get paid for doing it. We get paid pretty well. Okay? So, does that make sense when I show that to you so far?
Yes.
Okay. Now let me show you from a compensation side how that works. Okay? I'm going to give you an example of what we get paid when we do work. There's a number of different available positions in the company, but basically what it comes down to, there's people that work on a full-time basis. All right? So one option is full-time. Full-time people have the designation typically of a regional vice president. So there's the full-time position. The person on a full-time position, I'm going to show you how they get paid. Okay? I'm going to use the example of life insurance because I want you to see that because it's a simple one to figure out mathematically how a person gets paid. Okay? A vice president gets paid at a 110% contract level. Okay?
110%.
Now I'm going to show you how that works out. When a life insurance policy is sold, what you look at is the annual premium. So I'm going to use $1,000, which happens to be the average policy cost of a couple in our area. So
That's
it's
for two people?
for two people,
So it's like
$500 a year
$80
for one, $500 a year for the other, roughly $83 a month.
Okay.
Okay, so that's average in our area. And a vice president who goes out and helps a family and does that transaction would get paid 110% of that, or $1,100. Sounds good, right?
Yes.
It's a one-time thing, so you get paid once, and that's it. But it's a substantial amount of money for helping a family. That might take 2 to 4 hours to do.
Okay.
All right. Now I want to explain something to you. When you look at this, you're saying 1,100. Well, only 1,000 came in. How could they get paid $1,100? Well, think of life insurance and the amount of time a person holds it. Is it a 1-year product or multiple?
Years. Okay. Okay. That makes
For a lot
sense.
of time, right? That's why they pay it out up front, and then every year after that, the company is profitable on it. But they want to make sure that the individuals who are working with the families are getting compensated for their time, and pretty well. Okay. There's another option, which some people look at, which is part-time, and I'm going to use an example of what's a district manager. It's a mid-level contract. Okay, that's a 50% contract level. So this person doesn't have the same responsibilities as the vice president. The vice president has to ensure that the office is functioning properly, that everybody's doing the right stuff. A part-time person, as a district manager, only has the responsibility of properly serving the people they're working with. Okay, district manager doing that, and on a part-time basis, go out and instead of making this $1,100, 110%, they're going to make 50% of that dollar amount, or $500. Okay, which I'm sure you'd agree. If you went out for 2, 3, or 4 hours and made $500, how would you feel?
Pretty good.
Pretty good, right? I don't know what you make right now where you're working, but $500 broken up, even if it was 5 hours, it's $100 an hour. It's pretty cool,
Right.
Yeah.
right? And the flexibility of time you now have. You work when you can do this when you want to, or when you don't want to, you don't have to.
Okay.
Follow me? Now, I want to show you what got me excited about this from a company standpoint, and it's not for everybody, but it's for some people. Now, you had mentioned to me before that leadership was something that you felt good about, having a leadership role or managing a team of people, and I want to show you what that could develop to be. Okay? If we take the regional vice president who's at the 110% contract and made this $1,100, if they say, you know what, rather than me work all on my own, I can only meet so many people in a week, month, or year, I want to have other people that have the availability to make money part-time, who don't want the same responsibility as me necessarily, but they want to make some extra money. I'm going to train and develop and teach those people. All right? So I'll give you this example. The vice president that I work with, his name's Tom. Okay? I've worked with him for a while as a part-time person, moving into full-time. That's why I'm talking with you today. I'm developing a team of people that I'm working with. I'm looking for some sharp people to work with me. But what happens is, if I was at this district manager level, this 50% level, I would make that 50% of that $1,000 transaction, or $500. Okay. Now, since I made this $500, Tom's not going to make that full $1,100,
Right.
because that's what gets paid out. Instead, he's going to get paid for developing, training, and mentoring me. He's going to get paid money, which he deserves, right? He taught me how to do what I'm doing. So instead of making this full amount, he makes the difference of our two contracts, which is 60%. 60% of 1,000
$600.
is $600. 5 and 6 is 11. So you see the 1,100 still get paid out. Make
Okay.
sense?
Yes.
Now the reason why I show that to you isn't so you go, man, at $500, I don't want to make just the 500. I want the 600. Well, that opportunity is available, and I'll show you. Further down the road, I'll show you how that works. Okay.
Okay.
Now, the beautiful part about what I'm sharing with you here is, you have the availability, or Tom has the availability, to identify other individuals to work also at that part-time position. So let's just say you were working part-time as well, all right? And you're at a 50% contract level. And Tom takes you out and trains you, and he does all the work, or I take you out and train you, and I do all the work, or I teach you how to do what you need to do in order to make that money. How much would you make on a $1,000 sale?
500.
You'd make $500. How much would Tom make having trained you on that sale?
600.
$600. So you can see, by identifying a few people, key people that are sharp, on the ball type people, good personality, credible, hardworking, motivated, that very quickly the amount of money Tom can make, or you potentially would make in that situation, would generally rise pretty quick, right? Now, what would happen here is, let's say that I'm independent. You don't see Tom here right now, and you are independent, and he doesn't have to train you any longer, and he goes away. And while he's away on vacation, we go out and I write a sale and you write a sale. Does Tom still make that money?
Yes, he does.
Yes. How would you like to be the person making that money?
Pretty cool.
That's what we do and what I can teach people to do. But that's not for everybody. I understand that. Some people would love to just work on a part-time basis. Okay? And make what they want to make. Now, I'm giving you that example because let's say you did that once a week. Is that realistic? Like once a week, do this with somebody. This is 168 hours in a week. I think once a week is pretty reasonable, right? Okay, if you did that once a week, $500 a week, for the month is $2,000.
Pretty
Right?
cool.
Which is pretty good part-time income for the time invested. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely.
Okay, so that's really what I wanted to share with you initially about what we do. Now, let me ask you this: how do you feel about what I just shared so far with you?
I like it.
It's great.
Okay, do you feel like this is something that you could be successful in? That if you were taught and mentored and coached, that you would feel good about what I just shared with you, sharing that with other people?
Sure. Who would be the coach? Who would be the mentor?
I would.
I feel very comfortable.
I would personally work with you and train you until you didn't need me anymore. I wouldn't just throw you to the wolves and say, hey, figure it out. I would go out on the appointments originally with you until you're trained to the point where you don't need me any longer. longer. And really what happens is people get tired of me going out on appointments with them because then they've got to work around my schedule. So once they learn how to present the information we present, then they no longer ask me to go with them because they don't want to deal with my schedule. Makes sense, right?
Yes.
Okay. Let me ask you this question then. When it comes to decision making on an opportunity that's presented like this one, do you make this type of decision independently? Or would you share this with someone else or want someone else to kind of help you through it?
I would
We
share
would
with
make
somebody.
we would make
Yeah.
the decision
Okay,
together.
so jointly together. In that case, then what I would say is what I want to do is take you through the presentation.
Okay.
All right. Do you want to do that now at a different time? Okay. If not, if it's somebody else who says, I would want to go talk to my spouse, because generally from the interview process, you're
Sure.
with the person.
Right.
I'd say, let's do this then. I'm sure you'd agree that it would be pretty challenging for you to explain everything I explained to you to your husband or wife. So let's get together as a group, and I'll take you through the actual presentation so you can see exactly what I present. And then we'll be better able to make a decision at that point. Sound good?
Sounds good.
All right. What generally works better for you? So weekends, evenings, daytime?
It's
When are
alternate
you two
choice.
together?
Weekends.
Sorry. Go ahead.
So then do this for me. Do you text or with your husband and wife? Like, how do you communicate normally?
We
Call?
text. Sure.
Okay.
Call, text.
Could you shoot them a text? Let's figure out a time. My schedule gets filled up pretty quick, and I want to make sure that I have enough time within the next couple days to get together with you while the information's still fresh in your mind. Shoot them a text, and let's see, would tomorrow or Wednesday work better?
Right. Boom.
But it needs to be within 24 or 48 at the max, 72 hours.
Okay.
All the information's still good.